My name is Brandon Smith, and you're here with SLV Hornets TV. We're interviewing Mr. Larry Selders, a senator candidate. Right now, he's a representative.
How you doing? I appreciate you allowing me to be here.
Yeah. How are you feeling today, Mr. Selders?
Good. I feel good. We have Saturday is the election, so I'm ready to wrap it up. I'm tired, but I'm here.
You think you about to get the win?
Definitely gonna get the win. I'm definitely gonna get the win. Ain't no doubt. I'm the only person that's in the race that's from Baton Rouge.
You sound confident.
I am. People say faith without works is dead, and nobody gonna outwork me. So you're not gonna beat me.
All right, we know you gonna win. All right. Today we got some questions for you. Okay, I'm gonna let one of our other hosts give the first question out.
Okay, my question is, what role does state representative play in our community?
We make the laws for the state. We got the local level, like we got the council, and then we got the state level, and then we got the federal level, the congressman. So all the laws pertain to budget, how we spend the money, Medicaid, Medicare. Medicaid is state, Medicare is federal. Just like all universities, everything. Any budget items got to go to the state. Any laws got to come to the state that regulate the state. It supersedes all the local laws that they make. So that's what we do. That's what I do.
Oh. Okay. So what made you want to run?
I'm a social worker, and I just feel like I'm advocating on a bigger platform. When I first ran for public office, I didn't want to feel like I owed anybody. So I didn't have no fundraisers. I using my own money. I own a mental health agency. My wife a doctor. So I was like, I don't need nobody's money. And so I'm here to help people. And I think that's the biggest platform you can have. I don't think people talk about mental health a lot. And so that's why I decided to run, kind of advocate for people. I live in the South Baton Rouge. That's where I'm from. And that's how I got in politics, because of something called gentrification. And so I wanted to kind of stop gentrification, because all of the folks were moving in my neighborhood. So I'm like, I'm gonna run for public office so I can help with the gentrification. And so that's why I started running for public office. That's how I got involved, really.
So it's more of a selfless act on your part. You wanted to help more of your community rather than go for these benefits and a higher paying job.
Yeah, it don't pay nothing. You make $16,000. So it's not for no money.
So you just here just to help the community, what you say.
You see it's for the people, not the politics. Because I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? That, I'm not here like trying to use a position for influence. For self-preservation, because I'm okay. I think a lot of times people hold on to these titles because they don't have nothing else outside of being this. You know what I mean? I was Larry before I was a legislator, and I'm gonna keep being Larry, because this stuff is you passing through. I can't be no legislator forever. This stuff got term limits, and so as long as I set my legacy, I have kids. I have 2 little boys. That stuff follow you. So you want to leave a legacy that's gonna stick, and people gonna remember you. So that's really what it is. I've done a lot of legislation, a lot of criminal justice stuff, a lot of mental health stuff, a lot of stuff to help with like adjudicated properties. So I just like what I do, honestly. And this is an opportunity to get a bigger platform, because there's only 39 senators in the state. It's 105 state representatives. So you got a bigger room. And then every appointee that the governor make, the Senate has to confirm them. So if the governor puts somebody on a board like that run the state, and the Senate don't approve them, then they can't get on the board. So it give you a lot of influence and power too.
All right, we're gonna move on to our third question.
Okay.
How do you feel connected to Louisiana?
How do I feel connected to Louisiana?
Yes.
It's all, that's what I know. Like I said, I'm from here, born here, raised here. And I will tell you this, when I became a legislator, I learned more about our state. I learned that it's bigger than Baton Rouge. I learned about like, you know, the maritime industry, and people don't even talk about it. The maritime industry, like riverboat pilots, stuff that's happening on the river. And I learned a lot about agriculture. You know, we have a lot, like millions and billions of dollars come from Louisiana from agriculture. I learned about that. So it's still a learning experience. Like stuff that Louisiana have, I never knew existed until I got involved in politics. And I feel like it's my job to, once I experience it, to allow the community to experience it. And so, you know, I'm in these rooms. So when I'm in a room, everybody in the room, you know, and I say that because when I'm learning something, I'm bringing it back to the community. So, hey, look, this stuff exists. These kind of jobs exist. There's a lot of opportunities that's out here that we really don't even know about. And so we got to just continue to kind of push the narrative. So that's how I'm connected, because I'm from here. And, you know, I like to travel, but wouldn't want to be nowhere else but Baton Rouge.
So we're going to move on to our next question.
How does your position benefit high school teens?
We control like, you know, there's something called the Bessie board. That's the board that regulate all the you know, schools, and then it's the state legislature that make the laws. So I have a student that she want to make a law to allow y'all to have like mental health days. So if we take that legislation that she's working on and it became a law, and then y'all get mental health days. Like it's literally, he said, you know, with the students, the state, any law I make, it has to get in, you know, it has, everybody got to do it. So we had a law that said, hey, on, you know, this is hypothetical, it would never happen, but I'm just saying. So I made Juneteenth a state holiday. So all the state offices are closed on Juneteenth. That's a real thing. So we say, hey, on Fridays, every Friday, all the schools got to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance, you know, and that becomes a law. Everybody got to do it, you know, because it's the law of the state, unless it's illegal, you know, because y'all have y'all been following anything about like the 10 Commandments posted in the classrooms? Y'all heard about that? Where they passed that. When I say they, like a lot of Republicans, you know, the governor signed it, but what happened it's illegal, and so they're fighting it in federal court. And so now I don't think they don't have to have it in the class, the 10 Commandments posted, but it was a law that mandated all schools in Louisiana had to have that posted at the school. But because it's illegal, and they went to the federal level, they don't have to do it. So whatever we make law, you have to do it unless it's federally overturned.
Okay, thank you.
When you become senator, what type of impact do you want on your community?
So the biggest thing I want to do, my first bill as a senator, and like I said, I'm currently a state rep, so you know, the biggest, and for me, is like just like y'all remember getting like visual screenings when you were young,
Yeah.
hearing screenings when you're young. I think that a lot of people don't get mental health screenings when you're young. A lot of people don't get, you know, behavioral health screenings. So when I'm saying that, a lot of times folks going undiagnosed. You know, you may label a kid a bad kid, but he just got ADHD or she just got ADHD. And y'all don't know and the teachers don't know how to address it. The parents don't know how to address it. I think a lot of times we catch this stuff early. You know, you're not gonna get those labels, and you'll know how to deal with your anxiety. You know how to deal with your depression. Like, I'm a social worker, so I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen kids, you know, of my friends and cousins that I grew up with versus the people I went to school with doing the same stuff. And one get diagnosed, you know, early, and one just get labeled. You know what I'm saying? Now you're a bad kid, you know.
Yeah.
So I've seen the differences. So I think if we address that kind of stuff early, then we can deal with it. I think we deal with mental health early and catch it. A lot of stuff will change. I think, you know, mental health affects education. Mental health affects, you know, the criminal justice system, because people get labeled early. You know, it'll start a lot of truancy issues, you know, because people just want to kick you out of school because they don't want to deal with you. But if you know how to address your issues, or the teachers know how to deal with the issues and know you have a problem, then they can't just kick you out. So I think that's the kind of stuff I'm going to do when I get there.
Okay. It seems you advocate for mental health a lot, right?
Yeah.
So is it like on a personal level that you reach for mental health so much?
Yeah, I think my life experiences made me kind of advocate for mental health. Seeing family members go through stuff, family members going through addiction, family members going through, sometimes folks are self-medicating. They don't know what's wrong with them, they self-medicate. And I think that caused a lot of addiction problems, dealing with anxiety. And so that's really how I got into it. When you see your family members, your friends going through stuff, you want to advocate. And so I just took my advocating to another level because I can afford to do it. I got the time to do it. I didn't need big donors, you know what I'm saying, to put me in a position because I can afford to do it. I'm like, and I got the time. So that's really why I do it.
So I would like to know, which school did you come from?
I went to U High.
You
I went to U High, and then I went to Southern. Yeah, I grew up in South Baton Rouge. I lived in South. That's another, I lived in my mama when I was a freshman in high school. My mom was a freshman in college, and I lived in Easy Town. I lived in the South. I lived in Dixie. I lived in Northdale. I lived in Gardier. I never lived in Skylandville. I never lived in Sherwood. That's one neighborhood I probably didn't stay in. But what happened? We rented my whole life, so I saw a lot of stuff, and the only stability I had was probably going to school. So I saw a lot of stuff, and that's what gave me the fire. That's what made me, okay, now I want to pass bills for affordable housing, because I know what it's like to live in two of my houses I stayed in torn down right now if I go to my neighborhood. So I think people need, fair housing. People need to live in houses that it's a lot of it's a lot of slumlords. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, so I started everything, like I say, everything I'm doing on the legislative level, I'm doing in my real life. So I started buying property. 'Cause I'm like, shit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I'm like, I know what it's like to grow up like this. I know what it's like for your mama to rent a house, but the house ain't, for me, deemed livable or acceptable. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy property. I'm gonna live, and the people that's living in the house is gonna be a nice house. I'm gonna buy property so I can say, hell, you know what? I want to owner finance houses so people can have a better, you know, right now, if you wanted to go get a Cadillac, you can go get finance for $80,000, $100,000 car.
Yeah.
But if you want to go buy a house, you can't. You know what I'm saying? A 30-year mortgage, you can't. And so I just think, I want to be a change agent. So I'm like, look, if people can see me and say, hey, he did it, I could do it. I'm making the laws for the state. Ain't nothing bigger than that other than the federal government. And so, and from where I started, I'm like, if somebody can see me and look at me and know people that know me, they like, that's why you asked me if I'm gonna win. I'm like, yeah, because everybody pushing for me. Everybody lifted me up. They can't help it because they seen where I came from. Like, if Larry gonna win, we all winning. So that's my why, because I'm passing through. I'm not gonna be here forever at all. I can't. I got kids, but I enjoy what I do, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay. So I wanted to know, what type of academic success did you have in high school?
None. Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't lie to you. I can't lie. Like, I didn't have none. And really, I told you, when I was a freshman in high school, but when I was a freshman in college, like, I went to U High and we never talked about college at my house. Like, when I took the ACT, I was at my best friend's house. He said, and I took it on standby. He's like, man, get up. His dad is like, hey, get up. I'm like, for what? He's like, man, you need to go take the ACT. And my mama, my mama tried. Like, she didn't know because nobody told her. But I didn't take the ACT. I took it on standby. Showed up one day and just took the ACT. And I'm like, shit, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. I'm like, hey, my mama could do it, I could do it, And it's crazy because my mama had my brother when she was in high school. She got pregnant 11th, 12th grade year. And she was getting recruited to run track. And I didn't know this until I went to Southern. And the guy, I didn't grow till I was sophomore year in college.
Yeah.
And I was like 5'9", 5'10". And so the guy was like, hey man, you play football? I'm like, no. He's like, you track? I said, no. And so he ended up offering me, I went to the meeting, went to the trials, ended up getting a partial scholarship at Southern on the track team. And like 2 years later, I found out this same guy recruited my mama. Like, I didn't have a class ring, and I'm getting a swag championship ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, this my life just happened. It's ordained. You know, what's for you is for you. You know, and it is what it is. I'm excited to be here. I never thought I would be here, honestly, and I'm just excited to be here. Just the opportunity.
So I think that's all the questions we have today.
Okay.
So we'd like to thank you for coming out and giving us your time.
I appreciate y'all.
And that, from what I heard, you sound like a great candidate for senator. And if I could vote myself, I would vote for you.
Eventually you'll be voting. I thank you. I appreciate you, man. I do. I really do. And, you know, I like what y'all doing here. I think it's good how they giving you, Sanders giving y'all a platform and get y'all message out. I'm sorry for cussing on y'all stuff. And I can't help it. I'm trying to do better. But I do appreciate you, you know, and after we win, we're gonna do more stuff. If y'all wanna try to create some legislation, you know, that y'all think that needs to happen to change, you know, the lives of students, of your peers, just let me know. You know, I'm telling you, I literally have a piece of legislation that a student is coming up with. You know, it gotta make sense now. I want to win. I don't like losing. So we gotta think about it. It's 105, like state reps is 105 state reps, and it's only like 30 Democrats. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta know how to, you know, cross party lines, work with people. You gotta have meaningful legislation to make them say, okay, we need this in our community as well, if that makes any sense. So you gotta be able to, you know, advocate. I'm State Representative Larry Selders, and shout out to the SLV Hornets TV.